Hey, I hope you guys are doing well. Finally, Alhamdulillah, Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa wala. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. First of all, we will begin with extra shukr today. Alhamdulillah that we're able to resume the class. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give everyone good health, accept everyone's ibadat, and forgive all of our shortcomings, inshallah. And keep us steadfast in learning this kitab, teaching this kitab, inshallah, staying connected to this kitab, inshallah, even after Ramadan. Okay, so with that, we'll get started. We'll do some recitation first. I'll start from ayah number 36. Sorry, 35. We'll just do 35 a little bit. So read from ayah 35, inshallah. Discuss a few things on ayah 35 and then continue. Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ثم بدا لهم من بعد ما رأوا الآيات ليسجننه حتى حين ودخل معه السجن فتيان قال أحدهما إني أراني أعصر خمرا وقال الآخر إني أراني أحمل فوق رأسي خبزا تأكل الطير منه نبئنا بتأويله إنا نراك من المحسنين قال لا يأتيكما طعام ترزقانه إلا نبأتكما بتأويله قبل أن يأتيكما ذلكما مما علمني ربي إني تركت ملة قوم لا يؤمنون بالله وهم بالآخرة هم كافرون واتبعت ملة آبائي إبراهيم وإسحاق ويعقوب ما كان لنا أن نشرك بالله من شيء ذلك من فضل الله علينا وعلى الناس ولكن أكثر الناس لا يشكرون. We'll stop there, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa wala. Okay, so number 35. ثم بدا لهم من بعد ما رأوا الآيات ليسجننه حتى حين. So for those of you online, you will not be seeing the ayat going forward. You will just see the video because it helps with the recording. Yeah. And so you guys can follow along in the mushaf, inshallah, and you guys will have the projector today, so you can just follow the mushaf. So that will so ثم بدا لهم من بعد ما رأوا الآيات ليسجننه حتى حين. Then Allah says the signs were clear after, right? After that, the signs were clear, and so they ليسجننه, then he was ليسجننه, he was imprisoned for some time. Okay, a few things to inshallah talk here. So this is the last ayah in the palace. So we have finished with the scene in the palace. We know the last thing we talked about is all the women and the wife of the minister tried to seduce Yusuf alayhi salam. They were all going at him, and so he makes a dua that فاستجاب له ربه وصرف قال رب السجن أحب إلي. Right? He says that, Ya Allah, the prisoner is more beloved to me than what they're calling me to. So Allah then responded saying, yes, Allah responded. His Rabb responded to his call and diverted him from their plot. إنه هو السميع العليم. Indeed, Allah is all hearing, Allah is all knowing. We ended off talking about how Allah listens to our du'as. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is fully aware of what is in our hearts. So now, ثم بدا لهم. So they were trying to keep the information contained within themselves, right? So remember that all took the oath, right? The blood oath, that this should not go out. This incident should not go out. But then the information does leak out, right? Maybe the slave over there, they go and talk to their families or some things like that, or this is what happened in the party, and things kind of just Everything's good. Things kind of just spread, and it just got out of the hand. So now people started thinking, yes, Yusuf is innocent. Yusuf is innocent because we know all that. So if Yusuf is innocent, that's not the problem. The problem is making Yusuf as innocent makes the wife, a criminal. So now they have to do something to prevent this. So the ayat refer to the signs that Yusuf Islam is innocent. Okay, so that became very clear. So what are they going to do? They're going to imprison him. Even today, what happens when people speak the truth, right? In any company or any government system or any society, any family member, within a family member, sorry, in the community or in the family, what happens is they are silenced, right? They are just silenced. They're just fired. They're just you know either assassinated, killed. Things are done to them, right? So they lose their position. They lose their post, right? That's something happening here. Something we see that all the prophets do. The prophets came to speak against the society, right? They came out, called out the society for what it is, right? So لِيَقُومَ النَّاسُ بِالْقِسْطِ. That's how Allah also describes the people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the people who learn the kitab, is that they are not people who are quiet and just watch the show, right? No, they're people who stand out, they go against the norm, right? So he didn't follow the trend of just submitting to the Aziz's wife, rather he stood up, and so he's facing the consequences. Okay, now Yusuf alayhi salam is going to be imprisoned without a trial, right? There's no trial, because if you do have a trial, what's going to happen? He will be proven innocent. So the best thing is you don't have a trial. So what do you do then? You don't even delay the trial. You don't say trial is later on. No, you just kind of something called detain. He's detained somewhere, right? That's what's happening to Yusuf as-salam. He's detained. So we don't know even it could also be possible that they have paid the guards in the prison to keep him and not put him in the registrar. So nobody talks about him. Just keep him somewhere in the dark place, in the dungeon, right? That's what the elite can do, right? Elite has money, elite has the connections. Hey, you're gonna do this for us, and just keep him in the prison. Nobody should know. So he's kept in the prison unofficially, right? And the word detain looks like less bad, is actually worse than actual imprisonment, because with detention you don't know how long you're gonna be there, right? When is the trial? Nobody knows. Nothing is known until a dream will come to the king, and then that's oh, this person is in the prison. What is the matter? Then the trial will happen at that time. Okay, so but he's going to be there for some time. So Allah says hatta hinin, until some time. We don't know the exact time, right? Could be 1 year, 2 year, 5 years. We don't know. Okay, how long he stayed, Allahu alam, but he is detained in the prison. Okay, now this is very similar to the brothers, right? Brothers of Yusuf alayhi salam, they also threw him in the well with the hope that somebody will pick him up. We will not kill him, but something will happen to him. It's not our problem. So they do the same thing. Let's just detain him, keep him there for some time. We'll see how long this goes. We'll take him out whenever we or somebody else will take him out. He's just going to be there until this whole case, kind of settles down. So what's going to happen is they will detain him. 1 week he disappears. People start asking about him, talking about him, and the news spreads even further. Oh, what happened to Yusuf? What happened to Yusuf? People are there. Like when people are just outside, they're not that famous. When they go to prison, they become even more famous. Oh, this guy went to the. Oh, wow. Why did he go to the? Okay, and people start walking in the streets. Kind of like protesting. Oh, this is not the right. This person is oppressed, and everyone comes to know. Oh, who's this? What happened? They come to know what the story is about. And so here we see that Yusuf as-salam is thrown in the prison. They try to keep the case, try to shut it off, but it's not getting down, right? And so things are becoming more and more exposed. So they try and keep him longer than, right? Not for even 1 year, maybe longer than that. We don't know how long though. Okay. Okay. So one more parallel to draw here is that Yusuf alayhi salam, when he was picked up from the well, he was sold as a commodity, as a thing, right? For personal gain. The sellers wanted some personal gain. Bid'i sinin. Similarly here, he's basically sent to the prison for some personal gain. Again, used as a commodity, right? As not even a human being, as a thing, just pushed around, just taken lightly, right? So that's the ayah, that's the last scene. And now last ayah of that scene, inshallah. Now we move on to the prison scene. Okay, ayah number 36. ودخل معه السجن فتيان قال أحدهما إني أراني أعصر خمرا وقال الآخر إني أراني أحمل فوق رأسي خبزا تأكل الطير منه نبئنا بتأويله إنا نراك من المحسنين. Okay, so the translation here, وَدَخَلَ مَعَهُ السَّجْنَ فَتَيَانِ, so he entered the prison, okay, he entered, with him were two young men, okay? He entered the prison, and with him were two young men. So two young men, all these people are entering this new prison, new cell, okay? قَالَ أَحَدُهُمَا, one of them said, إِنِّي أَرَانِي أَعْصِرُ خَمْرًا, indeed I see that I am squeezing wine, right? Squeezing grapes, squeezing wine, basically, serving drink. وقال الآخر, and the other one said, إني أرى أحمل فوق رأسي إني أراني أحمل فوق رأسي خبزا. I see that I'm carrying khubz, bread on my head. تأكل الطير منه, and the birds were eating from it. نبئنا بتأويله, inform us of its interpretation. إنا نراك من المحسنين, indeed we see you from those who do good. Okay, from those who do good, from muhsinin. So this was the ayah that I was reflecting on in my 1 week of sickness. This ayah and the next ayah, of course. And at the first glance, you see that there's not much happening in this ayah, right? He entered the prison with two young men. They informed the dream to him. He says that, and they say that we see you as someone who's muhsinin, someone who does good, someone who does ihsan. But if you think deeper and reflect, there are about 10 lessons you can derive from this ayah. 10 lessons. Yeah. So let's go to that. Inshallah, you guys are free to add as well. So first thing here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, again, with stories, every detail is important, right? Everything Allah mentions is important. So he entered the prison with two young men. What did they do? What is the name of these two men? What crime did they do? None of that is mentioned, but he's entering the prison with two young men. Okay, the first thing to kind of think about is that when you see young men entering the prison, what do you think? Three young guys going to the prison. What is your first impression? They must have had bad friends. Okay, these young guys, the youth these days, okay, they must have bad environment. What else? They must have gone into some drug issues, maybe. Yes. Yeah. Okay. And that's the first thing that people think. That's exactly what Allah is telling us not to think about, because Yusuf alayhi salam did not do any crime. He's innocent. But we are just quick to judge, these youths, these young people. And the other two, we don't know their crime, but they're entering the prison. They may not have even committed a crime, but they're just thrown into the prison, just like Yusuf alayhi salam is thrown into the prison. So first thing Allah is teaching you and me is that don't judge people based on their appearance. Don't judge people based on where they are. They're entering the prison, or they're entering the club, or they're entering this place, or doing this. No, that doesn't tell us anything about what that person is, right? And so a lot of times people have this, and people label them with the negative label, right? So this guy went to the prison, and there's even a black mark. Even though you're innocent, there will be a black mark on your record. You went to the prison. That's it. That's all matters. Like what happened is you went to the prison. Everyone will treat you like that. Oh, you are somebody who went to the prison. You're put in the jail. You put in the jail even for 1 day. But I was innocent. That does not matter, right? So that's the first thing. The young men going to the prison, stop judging people just by the outlook, right? And stop treating people differently when they have been proven, innocent, and they have come out of the prison free, right? And so that's when I'll go to the lessons in a bit, inshallah. But a few more things I want to just quickly build up to this. So here we see that Arani. So the dream, one of them says, I see. Arani, not I saw, I see. Right? There's a difference between present tense and past tense in Arabic. Arani is actually present tense. When you use present tense, it means when you see something again and again and again. Okay, if you saw something only once, you use the past tense. Okay, so for example, inni ra'aytu. I think we talked about this. So Yusuf Islam saw ra'aytu. Okay, but Ibrahim Islam, when he saw the dream, he see ara. Inni ara fil manam. I keep seeing again and again. So this is like this. These people are saying now we keep seeing this dream again and again and again. And now also about the bird. So just a side point here, right? They see the bird. The bird is eating from his head, right? And bird in the Quran is generally symbolizes life and death. Generally speaking, life and death, right? طير. So can you think of the examples in the Quran where bird is used as life and death? Yeah, Ibrahim alayhi salam, right? So cut the bird, right? He'll come life and death example. Bird is used. Another example? Yeah. Okay, good. So that's also, I didn't think about that one. Yeah. So the Ashab al-Fil, birds are sent for death. Okay. And also Isa alayhi salam, right? So, I make the bird, فَأَنفُخُ فِيهَا. So bird just life and death. So like when he's going to interpret the dream, it's going to be about life and death too, right? Later on, we'll learn that, right? But it's just the bird kind of reminds you, how is it used in the Quran? You can actually learn about dream interpretations too now, right? If you see birds in your Quran, in your dream now, okay. So don't eat too much chicken or iftar or something. Okay, anyways. So inni arani ahmilu fawqa ra'si khubzan. So that's a dream. Okay. Okay. Now, second lesson to see here is that these two men, they probably just get to know Yusuf alayhi salam for a few minutes. They just got to know him for a few minutes, like, okay. And how are they, and immediately they're able to trust Yusuf alayhi salam so much that they're able to come and share something very personal with Yusuf alayhi salam, right? So you can imagine what type of akhlaq he has, character he has, that within just few moments, they're able to trust him. They see something in him. Oh, this guy is spiritual. This guy is something holy. This guy is something, virtuous. And they're able to immediately trust him and share, their dream with him. And this is very similar to somebody else who shared his dream with somebody else before in the surah. It's not the first time the dream is being shared. Who shared the dream with who? Very good. Yusuf alayhi salam shared the dream with his father, Yaqub alayhi salam. Why? Because Yusuf alayhi salam felt that Yaqub alayhi salam is trustworthy. As not only a father, but he's a trustworthy friend, father, companion, who will give me the right suggestion. He saw something inside him. Some muhsinin quality was there in the father. And now we see that beautiful quality is being, it's being transferred to the son. The son is carrying the same personality that other people are able to look at him and like, oh, this person can be trusted, and they share. Right? Yes.
So that's the belief that these guys are getting these dreams recurrently. That would mean that they have experienced this for example for a few days or maybe a month, that they see him emotionally. Maybe not in the first look, possibly. I mean, in the first look, you can also get a feeling, but because they're getting the dream recurringly, it could also mean that they entered together, but now when they're sharing the dream with Yusuf alayhi salam, it's been a few days. Or
Okay.
maybe a month or like be like, whatever the time period.
Okay, so you're saying that they've been seeing him for a long time because the dream is for a long time. Dream could be for a long time, does not mean that they've seen him for a long time. How do you know?
Probably maybe like a couple of days, even a few days, they experience a person being together.
Yeah. So it's all, it doesn't show from the text that they were with him for a long time. You don't even know, like even 1 day or 1 year. We don't know that. Like that's, yeah, that clearly you can assume that, no problem.
But they slept. Like, I'm saying that they spent a day, they slept, and then they woke up. And
Yeah.
then they have
Perhaps, yeah. Make sure, make possible, yeah, for sure. So they have seen him, like, they've seen his quality, yes, and then they felt like something is up with him, something is there that that really attracts us. So we need to. So what we see here is that lesson number 2 is children will adopt the characteristics of their parents, right? Whatever the parent are, you will end up doing. Children will do that, right? You will do the things that your parents do, right? or your guardians do. It's just natural. Why do you do it? It's just exactly you take it from your parents. So it's very important as parents, we have the best akhlaq, best character possible, inshallah. So وَلِنُعَلِّمَهُ مِنْ تَأْوِيلِ الْحَدِيثِ. Okay, he says نبئنا بتأويله. So قال لا so the word تأويل الحديث, right, is exactly was used by Yaqub alayhi salam, right? Allah is going to teach you the interpretations of different speeches, right? And that's something Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already given him now. Exactly what Yaqub said is now Allah has given him now in the prison, right? He learned that in the palace. Now you can see the spiritual aspect of it he has learned. Now the dream interpretation is included now, right? Before it was just how people think, what do words mean? Now it's not just what people think, it's about what revelation is, what dream interpretation means also. So inna naraka min al-muhsinin, we see you. So that's the amazing part now, where you can derive so many lessons. We see you as someone who is a muhsinin. We see you as someone who excels. The word muhsinin was used before and now is used a second time. Okay, where did Allah use the word muhsinin before in this surah? Ayah number 22. Very good. Yeah. وَلَمَّا بَلَغَ أَشُدَّهُ آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا. When he became mature, we gave him wisdom and knowledge, and that is how we reward the people who do ihsan, muhsinin. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala considers Yusuf alayhi salam muhsinin, right? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala considers you muhsinin, He will put the feeling in other people's heart that you are muhsinin, right? Everybody else will start to think, will have good opinion about you because Allah had good opinion about you, right? And that's another lesson. So when Allah considers you good, Allah will put that inside people's heart. That we see you, something about you, right? Something inside our heart tells us that you are muhsinin. Same thing, Yaqub alayhi salam felt that he was muhsinin too, like he was special, right? He was not something ordinary. The Aziz, who was the minister, also felt that he was muhsin. He's somewhat different. He's not the same as, even the lady, she felt that, oh, this guy is different. It's not like everybody else. She fell for his good akhlaq, in fact, right? And the prison mates also feel the same, right? So they all feel, okay, something is good. I feel, that he's good. So that's very important that you and me should be focused on pleasing Allah. Make sure Allah thinks we are muhsineen, and that's enough. We don't have to worry about making people, impressing people. People automatically see the goodness inside us. But on the other side is that if a person has jealousy for other, then they cannot see the goodness in them, right? If people are jealous, then they cannot see they're going to be blinded by the jealousy. Example is the brothers. The brothers of Yusuf alayhi salam, they could not see the muhsinin quality of Yusuf alayhi salam, but they will see it. Down the road, they will say you're muhsinin. Inna naraka min muhsinin. They will say the same words. That will come later on. But because they were just overwhelmed by their jealousy, they could not see it. And so what we see here, so lesson number 3 is that Allah considers you good, then Allah will put that good feeling in other people's heart. Lesson number 4 is a person cannot see good in another person if they have jealousy for them. Okay, that's very important. So stop being jealous of others. So you see the actual khair, you see the actual goodness in people and appreciate them. If you're jealous, no matter how much good they do, you will always find something like some fault. This person did not do this person did not do this. It's something else. It's not them not doing. It's about your perception. It's about your jealousy. Okay. And so sometimes also we learn is that sometimes people who are closest to you will not see the goodness inside you. And the people who are far away from you may see the goodness inside you. Right? The people who are closest to us. Why? Because the people who are closest to us, whether that's a family member or a colleague or a friend, they may not see it because when they're close to you, there's more chances of having jealousy, more chances of having, kind of animosity, hatred. And because of that, they're not able to see the goodness. So the brothers who are so close to him could not see the goodness inside Yusuf Islam, but these prison mates, the outsiders, are able to see that. Okay, so that's something. So one important lesson to take away is that people will have different opinions about it. The bottom line is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put the goodness inside their heart if you're good, but not everyone will be good to us. Not everybody will see the goodness inside us. So that means that people will have different opinions about us. Some people will think we're good, some people will think we're bad. So that means you and me should never ever work to impress the people. We should never even care about what people think. Have zero expectation from the people. Never care about what people think. Right? Just think about, what does Allah think about me in this situation? What is Allah is gonna be? Is Allah happy with me taking this decision? Is Allah happy with me in this circumstances? If that is there, that's all matters. I don't really care, because people are gonna have different opinions anyways, right? I can't really change everyone's perception, right? I cannot change everyone's, like, no matter how good Yusuf salam was to his brothers, no matter how good you are to that person, they will not see the goodness. Okay. Indeed, we see you as someone who does good. That's what the prison mates say. See what? What exactly do they see? They don't see Yusuf alayhi salam in a nice white thobe or something. They don't see Yusuf alayhi salam with a kufi or with a long beard. They don't see Yusuf alayhi salam with a tasbih or something, like beads or something. Nothing. He's in fact in prison clothes, right? The attire is nothing. There is no spiritual outfit, right? But still, subhanAllah, they see that, okay, we see you as someone who's good. What do we learn from that? We learn that it is not the external attire that matters, it is your akhlaq. It is your character, right? A person can be wearing hijab and niqab and a long beard and everything, and yet they will be the worst of people, right? And per person can be wearing any clothes, right? Prison clothes, ugly clothes, but still your character will still shine, right? Well, people will still see you as muhsinin. People will still see you as somebody, different. So never go with the external appearance of the people, right? Don't judge yourself by the external appearance also, right? Actually, sometimes it's a shaitan's trick that when you wear, Islamic clothes, whatever the Islamic clothes is, thobe or shalwar kameez, whatnot, you look in the mirror, you're like, yeah, I can't be doing bad. Like, even if you do wrong, you think, no, I'm not bad. Look what I'm wearing. I'm a good person, because clearly I'm better than this person who's not even wearing this type of dress. I'm wearing hijab. I'm wearing niqab. I'm wearing this. So I'm clearly a better person than them, right? And so the wrong you do doesn't really show much, because it's hidden, right? It's covered up. But if you're not dressed Islamically, whatever that is, right? Then what happens? You get to see. So it's not the akhlaq, it's not the external dress. There's no spiritual dress, there's no Islamic dress. I've spoken this before. You could wear a t-shirt, you could wear a pant, you could wear anything Western clothes, as long as you're modest, as long as you're covered, right? For the sisters, obviously the body has to be covered, and brothers, same thing. You should not show your figure too much, but as long as you have the aura covered, right, your parts that needs to be covered are covered, there is no such thing as Islamic dress, right? And so, subhanAllah, here we see Yusuf alayhi salam. They see him, but they see his character. Okay. Okay. Another thing to think about, ponder, is that every time Yusuf alayhi salam is used for other people's purpose, he's used by the people, he's misused by the people, right? So they sold him, right? They threw him in the well, they sold him as a slave. He's used in the house, everywhere he's being used, but Yusuf alayhi salam only keeps benefiting them back. He does not hurt them, but he tries to benefit them. Always. Right? Brothers hurt him, eventually he's going to help them. Right? The minister is trying to, like, he also hurt him. He could have taken him back to his house. He also hurt him in some way, but he tries to do his best and be the best servant he can. Right? Tries to give him back the good. And the minister's wife also tries to hurt him, right? But he doesn't go out and expose himself. He remains quiet. He just no. He rawadatni an nafsi. She tried to seduce me. He doesn't go out. He continues to work for her still, right? Doesn't do the bad, but doesn't go out and hurt her or spread the rumors. Even in the prison, like we'll study inshallah his speech with the prison mates. He's not gonna say the reason I ended up here is because of this lady who did blah blah blah. No, 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 no. Right? He doesn't try to tarnish her reputation. He just, we'll talk about it. SubhanAllah, that's something we learn here. That no matter what people do to him, how bad they are to him, he's always the best to him, to them back. And that is in fact the definition of ihsan. Ihsan is you do good to those who do bad to you. Okay, this is ihsan. So ihsan has two definitions. Ihsan is you worship Allah as if you can see Allah. Ihsan is to do good to the ones who do bad to you. Okay, that's very important. So that's something we learned in the lesson. That's lesson number 7, by the way, is that do good to those who do bad to you. Right? SubhanAllah, ihsan. Yeah, and also another thing to kind of think about is you never do good to others for them. We do good to them because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Like I'm doing this fight for them, for this person. Ultimate goal is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I want to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why I'm doing this. But also I care for this person. Of course, that's there. But the real reason you do good is not because somebody deserves good. Because that way nobody deserves good. I don't deserve good, you don't deserve good, nobody deserves good. Because we all do bad. So we don't do good to others because of who they are. We do good to them because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And similarly, we don't do bad to people. We don't do bad to anybody because they deserve to be treated badly. Because we don't do bad because Allah tells us not to do bad. Okay? So, he could easily say, you do bad to me, I'm going to do bad to you. No, we never do good or bad to anybody because of them. We do it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? We do what Allah tells us to do, and we prevent ourselves from things Allah tells us not to do, right? And so here he's gets a lot of bad things. He's hurt. A lot of people are doing bad things to him, but he continues to do good to them because that way Allah will be happy with him, and that will benefit him in return. Right? He's thinking farther than this. He's like, okay, people are doing bad to me. How can I gain my Jannah from this? What can I do to earn my Jannah? I'm going to do good to them. Allah will be happy with me. And that's my benefit. Okay? So that's another thing to think about. Oh, it's another point I had. I just lost it. Okay. Okay. 2 more things, inshallah, I'll complete here. Yeah. Another thing is that here, Yusuf alayhi salam is in the lowest of the lowest, right? He is in the prison. He's in the prison, right? In the lowest part of his life. And in few years, he's going to be on top of Egypt in the highest position possible, right? And a finance minister. In both the places, we see that the people who see Yusuf alayhi salam say the same phrase. They say, Inna naraka bil muhsinin. Same thing. So in the prison may say, we see you as muhsinin. And the same thing will happen when he is in the throne. The brothers will say, we see you as someone who's muhsinin, someone who does good. What we learn from that is that no matter what your physical circumstances are, what your worldly position is, whether you have a victory or defeat, whether it's a good day or a bad day, your obedience to Allah is always constant. You never stop doing good to others. You continue to do good no matter how bad the day is, and you never, do extra good because it's a better day. No, good day or bad day, you are constant. You are muhsinin. Okay, you continue to do ihsan. Okay, and that's a very powerful lesson, right? To learn from Yusuf alayhi salam that things can change, but your obedience never changes. Just like Surah Al-Baqiyah, we studied that everything is changing in this world. Constant change is happening. The only thing that doesn't change is tasbih. Only Allah is unchanged. Everything goes to change. Similarly, the people who obey Allah also unchanged. They remain steadfast. Right? Yeah.
I mean, the people who change with circumstances, we studied in Surah Baqarah that example of the lightning. There's lightning, it starts walking over the trying to stand, right?
Yeah.
Allah is calling that people that
Yeah.
So we studied for them.
Yeah. Exactly. The people who change, was always but a nice point here. The people who change with circumstances are called hypocrites in the Quran. Right? When things become easy, they do more. When things become difficult, they just stop. Right? Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. So the Fajr also. Right? Very good point. So yeah, this Quran just repeats itself in different, ideas. Very good. Yeah, so alhamdulillah, it's good to be able to link all of this. So that's something to learn. We remain constant in our obedience to Allah, no matter how much people treat, how badly people treat us. Does not matter. We do ihsan continuously. Okay. And last thing here, last point here. Think about the life of Yusuf Salam. I just want you to put yourself in that situation. Okay. You are somebody who obeys Allah. Okay, you are put through a test. You yourself, you put through a test and you pass that test with flying colors. Okay, so whether that is, let's say you attempted to cheat on the exam but you didn't cheat. Okay, or you were tempted to steal some money, you didn't steal. You attempted to, miss something, miss your fara'id or something, you didn't miss something. Okay, you did your best and you pass. What do you expect after doing ibadah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? After doing good deeds to Allah, what do people expect? People expect, well, I did so much good, Allah should reward me. I should get some benefit. I hope I get a better mark. I hope I get a better position. I hope I get something better because clearly I obeyed Allah right now. Obedience of Allah should lead me to something better. And so what ends up happening? Things become worse sometimes. And you're like, oh my God, all my sadaqat are wasted. All my ibadah is wasted. I have lost hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is it. I did so much and this is all I got. This is it. Understand? People end up losing faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? They give up on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I did so much. I did dua last night. I even cried in tahajjud. And this is what happened in the daytime. I got into an accident. I got into this. I got into that. Right? Where is Allah? Why is Allah punishing me like this in this world? Isn't that what people think?
So many ayahs which talk about the same.
Yeah.
This was a translation of the ayah of Surah Fajr basically.
Yeah.
And then my Lord has disputed.
Yeah.
And then in Surah Balad is "Ahlaktu ma lallu wa ta'ala."
Yeah. Yeah.
I've done so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So you're reflecting, right? You're reflecting, so you're able to actually connect to. Very good. So يقول ربي أحيانا. So the Fajr, same thing. So Yusuf alayhi salam, he just passed the test. The women tried to seduce him. He said nope. And Allah, he must be thinking Allah should be proud of me right now. And then again, all those women come together, try to seduce him. He says no. He stood his ground. Now he should be expecting a reward. And the reward is go to prison. What? Go to prison? Ya Allah, he could say so many things right there. Right? But look at a true believer here, subhanAllah. A true believer is always content with the decision of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I did this, Allah is putting me. Now, did Allah reward him? What was prison a reward? Like for a superficial mind, I want you to first think as a superficial mind that how people would think, I did everything, I didn't get any promotion, I had a huge loss. But from a believer's, now let's think about a believer's lens. Let's think about Yusuf al-Islam's lens. How was that a reward for Yusuf al-Islam going to the prison?
He, actually, the thing is, even before he went to prison, he knew what his reward was. It was the iman. The thing is, his reward was iman. That's why he said, Allah, the prison is beloved to me because my iman is more precious to me.
Yeah, very good. So the reward is iman. Very good. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected him from sin and preserved his iman. That is the greatest benefit. The first benefit we see is akhirah benefit. The first benefit between the two options, you either lose your Jannah or get your Jannah. What's more important, right? If you want to stay in this dunya, you'll lose your Jannah. If you want to stay in this dunya, you'll lose your Jannah. Or you go to the prison but get your Jannah. He says, no, I'll rather get my Jannah. So he actually won. He protected, his iman was protected, and his sin. And the other thing, another benefit of going to the prison.
There are future benefits which are coming.
Okay, we can include that, right? Very good. That's the second point I was mentioning. Good. So da'wah, he's gonna get the chance to do da'wah at the prison. He's gonna call people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's gonna become a da'i of Allah in the prison. Allah's gonna choose him for that purpose. Isn't that a victory? Right? Like sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put you through difficulties so that you come to his book, so that you come to him even closer. When Allah wants to bring you closer to his kitab, to himself, then Allah puts you and gets you cut off from the world, puts you in a prison, puts you in a bubble, puts you in a situation where you are forced to do nothing but Talk about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are cut off from other obligations and other responsibilities. So he's cut off from all those duties of a slave, and now he's just in the prison. Food will be coming to him, and he's going to just, subhanAllah, teach. And then the third thing, I guess you're going for that, right? And that is the future benefit. Through the prison, he's going to become the finance minister, right? So that it is through that. So there are two akhirah benefits and one dunyavi benefits. So the two akhirah benefits, again, is he's protected from sin, iman is preserved. Second is that he gets the chance to do da'wah. And the third is that he gets to go and have a beautiful position in this dunya. And that's just an added benefit. Okay. So the lesson is that's lesson number 10. That is, Allah always rewards the muhsineen even though we don't see it. Allah always rewards the muhsineen even though we don't see it at the moment. But we have to have the eye of the unseen to see it. Right? The ta'wil al-ahadith has to be there for us. Right? We all have to be thinking like Yusuf alayhi salam, very analytical. Right? Think from that lens. Right? Ask Allah to teach you. Right? Allahumma anfa'na bima 'allamtana wa 'allimna ma yanfa'una. Allah, teach me what will benefit us. Teach us. Show us. Wa arina manasikan. Okay? All right. So that's ayah number 36. Let's continue, inshallah, ayah number 37. So now it comes to the response of Yusuf alayhi salam. He says, قال لا يأتيكما طعام ترزقانه إلا نبأتكما بتأويله قبل أن يأتيكما ذلكما مما علمني ربي إني تركت ملة قوم لا يؤمنون بالله وهم بالآخرة هم كافرون واتبعت ملة آبائي إبراهيم وإسحاق ويعقوب ما كان لنا أن نشرك بالله من شيء ذلك من فضل الله علينا وعلى الناس ولكن أكثر الناس لا يشكرون. So the response of Yusuf alayhi salam goes all the way till ayah number 41. Okay, ayah number 41. Okay, so today we'll just cover two of his responses in the prison. Okay, so first he says, so a running translation here, Yusuf says, لا يأتيكما طعام ترزقانه, that the food that you are going to be provided with will not come to you except that I would have informed you of its interpretation. Okay, ذَلِكُمَا مِمَّا عَلَّمَنِي رَبِّي, that is because my master has taught me this. Indeed, I left the religion of a nation that does not believe in Allah, and they are disbelievers in the hereafter. Okay, let's see what we can learn, inshallah, from these ayat here. So first thing he says is, before the food gets here, I will tell you about the dream. I'll tell you the interpretation of the dream. Okay, so think about the prison, right? Think about the prison. We are assuming it must be in a very dark place, right? It must be in a dungeon where probably there are no lights. If there are no light, there are no clocks there are no time, and there are no light, that means you can't really tell the time. If there's no sunlight, you can't really know day from the night. So the only way to kind of know about the time is by the food, right? So food is coming at this time, so that's how they would know the time. There's no other way to know the time. So he's using this to kind of say the time. Okay, before the food gets here, the food time is almost close by there. You're expecting food right now, but don't worry. Before the food, I know you're all hungry. We already know it's the time of food. Before the food gets here, I'll tell you the dream. But let me tell you something else. So this thing he's saying is to just kind of put them at ease. Don't worry. You will get your understanding. You will get the interpretation of the dream very soon. I'll tell you that, no problem. But I have something else to tell you quickly. Okay. So that's why he uses the word food there. So another reason he mentions food, I'll talk about it in a second, inshallah. So before I move on, Yusuf alayhi salam, by the way, is put in a dark place for the second time, right? This is not Yusuf alayhi salam is not going to the dark place for the first time. The first time he went was in the well, right? It was a dark place. We don't know how long he stayed in the well, right? Maybe 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, we don't know. So he stayed in the well, and now he's coming to the prison. What can happen first of all, when you're in the dark place for the first time as a child, it can have a lot of negative experiences, a lot of negative memories, bad feelings and things like that. And now when you go to the dark place one more time, it can actually trigger a panic attack, right? It can trigger the same feelings, right? Psychologically, it's very difficult, right? Like what's happening. So you can imagine, put yourself in that situation. Oh my God, what type of a situation is this again in the dark place? It can bring back so many bad memories. But then he has something way more powerful to overcome all of these traumatic experiences, and that is the strength of iman, right? The iman he has inside him is so powerful that none of that actually affects him. If there was any other person who was going into this, definitely would have heard something about mental health, psychological issues, things like that. But we don't hear anything like that from Yusuf alayhi salam because iman is so powerful. Iman is so strong. So that we see a beautiful interconnection between spirituality and your physical circumstances. So physical circumstances can be anything. If your spirituality, if your connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is strong, then you can overcome any problem. Just like Musa alayhi salam's mother, right? When she was throwing her baby, Musa alayhi salam actually, in the basket, in the river, you can imagine what would have happened. It's not a normal thing for the mother to do. But then Allah says something beautiful. He says, لَوْلَا أَرَّبَطْنَا عَلَىٰ قَلْبِهَا. It was us who tied the heart of Musa alayhi salam so that her heart does not, just burst. So she was almost about to just come out and run, follow the basket. She could not sit quietly, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave her that iman that is able to control herself. She didn't lose herself even in that situation, right? And so Yusuf alayhi salam, has that iman. And one powerful, powerful quality that Yusuf alayhi salam has that we all need to have is gratitude, is shukr. If you were to summarize, it's not even the patience of Yusuf alayhi salam, it's in fact the shukr of Yusuf alayhi salam. It's a shukr of Yusuf alayhi salam. It's that power that's going to give him the patience in tough times. So it is a shukr that allows you to be patient in tough times. Okay? So Yusuf alayhi salam is in that room alone with the lady, and his response immediately is, Inna Rabbi ahsana mathwai. I'm too grateful to my master. He has been the best to me. How can I do this? Right? His level of shukr is so great that he cannot think about doing anything evil. Right? How can I do this when my Rabb has done so much good to me? His entire stay in palace is shukr. Allah has done so much to me. And even in the prison, you will see that Yusuf al-Islam will bring out the same words, shukr, right? We'll talk about that. He will bring out shukr twice. And just on a side note, Nuh alayhi salam, he lived with his people. He went through a lot of difficulties, right? 950 years of da'wah, of humiliation, of torture, and troubles, and calling people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala day and night. And you know what Allah calls him at the end? Like, what would you call that person? Like, if you were studying a life of somebody who did so much and who went through so much trouble and yet he did not give up, what do you call that? Patient one. Oh, this guy, this prophet is so patient. The patient prophet, the most patient prophet. Well, we don't see that for Nuh alayhi salam. What quality do we hear for Nuh alayhi salam? How does Allah describe Nuh alayhi salam? Anyone know? He's abdan, but what type of abd? Shakuran. Isn't that surprising? Innahu kana abdan shakura. Indeed, he was a grateful servant of ours. Grateful. I thought that would be the last thing. Understand? It's when you have a lot of shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are able to have patience. I'm so grateful to Allah, to you, Allah, that you have given me this opportunity. I'm going to continue doing this. No matter what the difficulty is, I'm so grateful to you. It's shukr. That's why alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. It's all about shukr. If you understand shukr, right? Even people understand shukr. Like, do we really need to do shukr to Allah? Who should we do shukr to? Right? If you just understand this concept of shukr, it will lead you to Allah. It will lead you to a better person. That's what psychologists say. The number one reason for happiness is shukr. If the more grateful you are, the more happy you become. Right? If you're like, that's why you see, generally speaking, people in Canada, right? They're always doing shukr. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Happy people. I'm one of the happiest country in the planet, I heard. right? But obviously, there's depression, there's all this other problem. Generally speaking, though, shukr, it's, and when you really do shukr to the real being, then you're really happy. So, anyway, so it's a gratitude that gives us the power and the patience to go through tough times. So he says, قَالَ لَا يَأْتِيكُمَا طَعَامٌ طَعَامٌ, not a طَعَام طَعَامٌ, a food is general, right? Because they don't even know what the food is going to be, or when, they don't know what kind of food it is, right? So ta'am, whenever the food is coming, a food is provided to you, then before that, I'll tell you the dream. Okay, so turzaqanihi, here's a key word here. Turzaqanihi, before the food is being provided to you, not before the food comes to you or before you eat the food, before the food comes, no, before the food is provided. Turzaqanihi. So the word turzaqani itself is like provided, is unique. And on top of that, this word is also passive, meaning it's not like the guards will provide the food before the guards provide the food to you, or before somebody provides the food. It's passive. The doer is not mentioned. Provided, somebody has provided the food. Now, immediately, the first question that comes in the mind of the prison mates is that provided by who? Provided food provided? What do you mean provided? Who provided the food? So it's actually instilling some question in their mind. He's getting them to think about who is providing you with food. You don't just get the food from the grocery stores. You don't just get the food from somewhere. It's just made in the kitchen. It comes to you. It's somebody providing you. ترزقانه. Who's providing this? Okay, and it's a fundamental question, a fundamental message in the Quran itself, and that is that your food is the proof of God. The rizq you get is actually the proof that Allah exists, that you should worship Allah, that you should do shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Your food, right? أَأَنْتُمْ أَنزَلْتُمُوهُ مِنَ الْمُزْنِ. So the Waqi', Allah says, are you the one who sent down the food from the clouds, right? Are you the one sending down the water, right? These huge tanks on top of you? Because without the water coming down from the sky, no crops can be produced. No crops are produced, no chicken can exist, no goat or sheep, no meat can exist, right? And so he says, so before the food is provided to you, so he's getting them to think, who's providing me? أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُ الْإِنسَانُ إِلَى طَعَامِ. Didn't the human being look at their food? Didn't he ponder over his food? أَنَّا صَبَبْنَا الْمَاءَ صَبًّا. How we cause the water to pour. ثم شققنا الأرض شقا فأنبتنا فيها حبا وعنبا وقضبا وزيتونا ونخلا وحدائق غلبا وفاكهة وأبا. Right? All of these, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making us think, who is providing you? Who is giving you all of these things? So he's getting these prison mates to think. إلا نبأتكما بتأويله قبل أن يأتيكما ذلكما مما علمني ربي. That is because my master has taught me. You see, first he instilled a question, who provided food for us? Who gives for us? And then now he says, I will tell you, I have been given special powers. I have been favored. Allah has given me the power to interpret the dreams. But that is not because I am somehow great. That is because Allah has taught me. My master has taught me. Rabb. He's your Rabb. Okay, so that's the second thing. Second direct hint now, not even a hint, actually, direct message on who this person who provides, this being who provides the food, Rabb. Mimma allamani Rabbi, because my master has taught me this. Inni taraktu millata qawmin la yu'minuna billah. The reason why my master taught me is because I left the religion of those people who don't believe in Allah and they are disbelievers in the hereafter. Right? I have left the religion of the people who don't believe in Allah. Which religion is he talking about? Which religion is Yusuf as-salam? Which religion did he leave? Yeah, the minister's wives, right? The Egyptian religion. But did they actually follow their own religion? They did have religion, actually. They believed in the hereafter too, by the way. Afterlife, there was some concept of afterlife. They did believe in Rabb also. There was some remnants of Rabb, afterlife, and all that. But when he says, I left the religion of the people who don't believe in Allah? Is it only the Egyptian religion? Because the elite don't really have a religion, right? They don't really follow a religion. Yeah, from history we kind of know. Yeah, but he kind of said Rabbi, innahu Rabbi ahsana mathwaya, to kind of remind them about Rabb, but they don't really have any.
We know that the pharaohs had, like, but the thing is now the time of the Aziz.
Pharaohs later.
I know pharaohs later, but
Yeah.
at the time of the Aziz, did they have this concept of afterlife or not? We don't know.
Yeah, there is. So we say history of it, like, because you have to is go back to the history, and they did have some concept of hereafter, but they're all made up concepts, right? It was not the real, like like the mummies going, coming back to life and stuff like that.
But that was not pharaohs. That was not the Aziz.
Oh yeah, sorry. So the mummies is later, yeah, but earlier they had. So if you study history of this region, right? They didn't believe in Rabb, they didn't believe in hereafter, because we know that Allah sent prophets to every nation. So there must be some prophet before, right? So if Ibrahim alayhi salam is also sent, then descendants, and he's sent to prophets sent to every nation, we know that. So we have to, Quran says that, So, but anyways, regardless, even if they had religion or didn't have religion, the point is actually, even if people say that we don't have religion, they do have religion. Okay, that's the point I wanted to make. So a person can be an atheist, a person can say I don't believe in God, but they do have a religion. The religion is their desires as a religion. I take my desire as my gods. أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَاهُ. Did you look at the one who took his desire as his God? So they do have a religion, and he says that I have left the religion of the people who don't believe in Allah. Meaning any religion that is not Islam is other religion, right? It is a wrong religion. It is not the correct religion. Does not matter what you call it, right? The minister's religion was reputation. His God is reputation. I worship my reputation. I will do anything possible to get the reputation. Even if that means sacrificing Yusuf alayhi salam, I will do that. Okay, that's minister's religion. That's his God. The wife's God is desire. Like I'll do everything possible, or arrogance, or herself, right? And and things like that. So he's saying that the reason why I have been given this is because I left the religion of the people who don't believe in Allah and don't believe in the hereafter. Because if they did believe in the hereafter, they will not be doing these wrong things. So whatever religion they have, it's not, whatever belief they have about the hereafter is not actually correct. Okay. Yes.
What's the difference between Milla and Deen?
That's Millah. Millah had to do, from what I remember, Millah had to do with your idea. It's your idea.
So, I mean, in a way, if the word Milla is the ideas of the people. So basically, the ideas is still referring to what he was being called to.
Yeah, the idea.
It's not necessarily the religion of the people. That's what their way is basically.
Yes.
I avoided. I left the ways.
Yes.
What
Correct.
he was calling me to.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So inni taraktu millata qawmin. Yeah, not just deen of the people, but the millah, meaning the mindset they have, right?
Ways, whatever.
Yeah. The
Even
whatever.
if the women wanted to get with the men, like normal,
Yeah.
It has been made that it was normal in the
It was
society.
normal. Yeah.
So he left those ways.
Yes. He left all those ways of the men and women, how they interact, how the the elite society was ruling the class, the lower class. Yeah, definitely all that included. Millah is an even broader term than deen, right? Everything. So even today in the Canadian society, right, you could be a Muslim, but then your millah is not Islam, it's not Abina Ibrahim. Your millah is the Canadian culture. The millah is, your millah could be, the liberalistic ideas, right? So that could be a millah. So you got to be pure from every aspect. So you have to be pure, only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like, the millah of Ibrahim only, right? Abina Ibrahim only. Okay. So yeah. So that's what, so he says, so he's hinting to it, and then he also actually drops exactly who the Rabb is. Allamani Rabbi, my Rabb taught me. He's not arrogant. He says this isn't from my Rabb. I left the millah of the people who don't believe in Allah and who are disbelievers in the hereafter. وَاتَّبَعْتُ مِلَّةَ آبَائِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْحَاقَ وَيَعْقُوبَ. This is the last ayah, inshallah, today. We'll finish here. وَاتَّبَعْتُ مِلَّةَ آبَائِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْحَاقَ وَيَعْقُوبَ. I followed the way, again, millah, right? The same, the way, the mindset, the thinking, the religion, all of that included, of my forefathers, Ibrahim alayhi salam, Ishaq alayhi salam, and Yaqub alayhi salam. ما كان لنا أن نشرك بالله من شيء. It is not befitting for us that we equate with Allah anyone. ذلك من فضل الله علينا وعلى الناس. That is from the special favor of Allah upon us and upon the people. It's from the favors of Allah upon the people also, but most of the people are not grateful. Okay, when you read this ayah, what does it remind you of? I follow the millah of Ibrahim, Ishaq, Yaqub. Did that remind you of something before in the surah? Ibrahim, Ishaq, Yaqub.
When they were having the, when I think it was Yaqub alayhi salam, he mentioned Ibrahim before Ishaq.
Yeah, but you get that. Same, right? Yeah.
same idea.
Very good. So the same advice of the father, remember? I said that ayah will be a pivotal ayah in every aspect of his life. Yeah. وكذلك يجتبيك ربك ويعلمك من تأويل الحديث ولنعلمه ويتم نعمته عليك وعلى آل يعقوب كما أتمها على أبويك من قبل إبراهيم وإسحاق. Right? So yeah, exactly. So same thing. You see that? So that thing comes up again. So now he's giving the same message. The message he got from his father, he's conveying it for further to other people, right? So وَاتَّبَعْتُ مِلَّةَ آبَائِي. I followed the millah of my father Ibrahim and Ishaq and Yaqub. So we saw a lot of similarities between Ibrahim and Yusuf alayhi salam. Also, other things to kind of see here. So Ibrahim alayhi salam is, Ibrahim alayhi salam, his son Ishaq, his son Yaqub, his son Yusuf, right? So Ibrahim and Yusuf alayhi salam are like the two ends of that lineage, right? Two ends of the lineage. So they have a lot of similarities. One is that Ibrahim alayhi salam was also away from his father. He was a young person away from his father. Yusuf alayhi salam also away from his father. Ibrahim alayhi salam was also thrown in the fire or punished for speaking against the society, right? Standing up against. So he's also thrown into the prison for speaking up against, right? Standing against the society. So again, so he's getting his motivation from his father Ibrahim alayhi salam, right? So we don't need the society to approve us. Rather, our motivation is Ibrahim alayhi salam. We need to follow Ibrahim alayhi salam. He has gone through this path. I'm following the same path, right? So in a way, he's grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here because it's a favor of Allah upon me that Allah sent me to the prison, because all good people go through this, right? People who stand up for the truth, they go through this. If my forefather went through this, and so of course it makes sense that I'm going through this. So, you know, like when obviously the prison mates are gonna ask him, what landed you here? How did you end up in the prison? Like what is your crime? And this is his response, basically, right? He says, the reason why I ended up in the prison is because I follow first of all, Allah has favored me, right? He says, Allah has taught me this beautiful thing, Allamani Rabbi, because I left the religion. I left these people. That's why I'm here. It's a favor of Allah, right? I left, and it's not good for me to follow them. Like it's all words of shukr, right? And he says that this is a millah of Ibrahim, Ishaq, and Yaqub, right? This is what they went through, and so I'm going through the same thing. And by the way, these prison mates don't even know who these people are. They don't know who's Ibrahim, Ismail, Ishaq. They have no idea. But then he's giving them da'wah and getting them introduced to these heroes. All we learn here is also when we are teaching people about Islam, it's good to take them back to Ibrahim alayhi salam, right? Abrahamic faith and who he stood for, what was his life like, because then in Islam, everything is Ibrahim alayhi salam, right? Even the Kaaba is symbol of Ibrahim alayhi salam, right? Everything to do with our religion has to do with Ibrahim alayhi salam. Okay. And so he says, "Ma kana lana an nushrika billahi min shay." It is not befitting for us. You see, he's not talking about you. You guys are doing this. You guys do shirk. No, he's saying for us. A beautiful way of doing da'wah. Like for me, I think this is why Islam is beautiful. For me, I think this is what we should be. I think for me, like for you, why do you choose Islam? Why do you choose this path? Don't tell others. Don't point fingers at others. Rather, tell your motivation for following the right faith. Right? Why? ما كان لنا أن نشرك. It's not befitting for us that we equate with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, In the previous ayah, he said that it is not the people, they disbelieve in the hereafter. Now he says it's not only enough to believe in Allah. Sorry, la yu'minuna billah. First he said they don't believe in Allah. Now he says it's not only enough to believe in Allah, but you also have to make sure you don't equate anything with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So like a little bit further in the argument. See, his da'wah is slowly building up. So it started with the food, and then slowly just going into Rabbi, and then like people, I left the religion of people who don't believe in Allah, and then it is not befitting for us that we equate with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So sometimes we could say, I believe in Allah, but I also believe in my desires who have equal power, who have equal decision making. You can equate desires with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You could equate other things with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but He's not doing that, right? He says that it is not befitting for us. We cannot make anything equal to us, right? No society, no human being can be equal to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? No desire can be equal to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the Rabb, He is above there. مَا كَانَ لَنَا أَن نُشْرِكَ بِاللَّهِ. Now he uses the word Allah directly. Allah, the Rabb, what the name of this Rabb is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Himself. أن نشرك بالله من شيء, right? At all. ذلك من فضل الله علينا. That is from the favors of Allah, from the few favors of Allah. Min fadlillah, not the fadlillah. There are many favors of Allah upon us, right? Min fadl alayna, upon us, and upon the people too. Allah has blessed me, us, our forefather, our entire family, our lineage with this. But you know what? This favor is not only for us. It's also for everybody else, for you guys too. Min fadlillahi alayna, right? ولكن أكثر الناس لا يشكرون. But most people are not grateful. So what he's saying is that, look, you want me to tell you the interpretation of dream? I will tell you, but this interpretation of dream is actually taught to me from my master. He taught me this, and the reason why he taught me this is because I didn't follow the ways of the people who don't believe in Allah, and I come from an amazing family. My forefathers have been blessed with these favors, and Allah has been grateful, has been very favorable to us, and He's also been favorable to the people too, but they're not grateful. People don't do shukr, not grateful. Start by being grateful to your food first. So he's going back to that. He's bringing that to a complete circle. Let's start with the food, to rizaqanihi, food that have been provided. Who provided me this food? And then he thinks, and then do shukr. La yashkurun. You don't do shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right, a few last points, inshallah, I'll conclude today. And one thing is that Yusuf alayhi salam is not arrogant when he explains his powers to Allah, to them. He doesn't say, this is me. I have been given this. I learned, I went to this minister, I learned this information. I sacrificed my life, I sacrificed my youth to learn such a thing. No, he didn't say any of that. He says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taught me this. All knowledge goes back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All ilm, all powers you have goes back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's very important to mention. Right? Don't say it's my achievement. Say Alhamdulillah. It's Allah who has given me this. Because arrogance is another trap of shaitan. Right? It's another trap of shaitan. And so Yusuf alayhi salam knows this. Oh, this is a trap of shaitan. I gotta be careful so it doesn't fall for it. He says, no, Allah has taught me this. And also, what happens is people, when you are blessed with something and people come to you to ask you to teach you certain things, when you start teaching them, what happens is you start impressing them, and you try to connect them to yourselves. You say, I'm so great, look how amazing I am at this, look how much knowledge I have, you should praise me, you should like me, you should honor me. But Yusuf alayhi salam does not do that. What does he do? Immediately he praises Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He connects the people to Allah. He doesn't connect the people to himself. Yeah, you should, yeah, this is me. Yeah, that's right. You should submit to me. No. Rather, he says, Allah has taught us this. Allah deserves all praise. Everything should go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? And two last things, inshallah, and finish here. And that is the consideration Yusuf alayhi salam has for people's time, right? That's also very important, right? So he knows that their time is important, right? That's why he says, look, I'm not going to give you a long lecture and hold you back, even though I'm holding you back for 10 minutes now. I'm not gonna give you a long lecture and hold you back, right? Rather, I'm gonna give you the interpretation of dream right before the food comes. But just a few, I just want to tell you a few things, and that his entire speech is less than a minute. Less than a minute, he conveys to them, and then he moves on. He moves on with what the actual dream. We'll cover the dream tomorrow, inshallah. But I just want to take this time to highlight this point that he is considerate of people's time. A lot of times what happens is you want to convey the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you want to continue speaking and speaking and speaking, and you don't really care about what other people are up to, right? Yeah, it's okay. I know you have somewhere to go, but this is more important. Dawah is more important. Let me tell you everything. You just hold them back, even though they're giving you signals that they gotta go, but you hold them back. No, Yusuf sounds like very quick, very fast. It's like, nope. I'm just gonna inform you this, and that's it. And he moves on. It's just a small hint. This is think about the food you're getting. This is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My master has taught me this. The favor of Allah upon all humanity. If you are grateful, you can also have this favor, like I have this favor. And let me tell you what the dream is about. Right? SubhanAllah. And that's something to inshallah learn, that don't, when you get a chance to speak to your colleague, when you get a chance to speak to anybody about Islam, don't just give them an entire khutbah that you heard, or I have to speak everything about. No, no, consider the time, consider where they are, and then convey the message. And a lot of times we judge the people's time. Oh, you have nothing better to do, like you are a loser in life, so let me just tell you something way more important. No, no, no. You always have to assume that other person's time is important. You always have to assume this person has something better to do. Let me, he has something important to do. Let me not take his time. Okay, to the point that in the prison, what do they have to do? Nothing to do. They're sitting in the prison, nothing. Even in the prison, he considers their time. Before the vote comes, don't worry, I'll give the interpretation. Okay, but here's a small da'wah, something to think about. And the last point of his da'wah I'll cover tomorrow, inshallah, where he's going to leave them with a rhetorical question. We'll do that, inshallah, tomorrow. Okay, so we'll end here. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. Okay, inshallah. Okay, guys, jazakallah khairan. We'll end here. And let's end with a small dua first. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين وجعلنا للمتقين إماما. اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها ومولاها. اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. جزاك الله خير. إن شاء الله see you guys tomorrow. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.